Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Clark Skaggs in the production The Love List, which is coming up this weekend from TKM Theatrical Productions. Clark, nice to see you. Welcome.
It's always great to see you, Dennis.
This is a very funny show, and you've got interesting involvement in this because you're in the show,
right?
But this is not the first time you've done this show.
Yeah. This is a show that we kind of pulled back from a season of TKM's that was done in 2016, and it starred at that point in time Tom Milligan and Deb Kennedy as and Rick Swan, actually as the three characters who were in the show,
and of course Tom and Deb are the TK or the K&M of TKM.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, and then I directed that one, and my wife Kai, she stage managed. And of course, the interesting thing for this one is that it's kind of all flipped around. Deb is directing, Tom is stage managing. I'm playing the role Tom was playing, and Kai is playing the role Deb was playing, and we've added Ken Van Egdon to the group. So it's been a fun journey.
So talk about, now I'm really curious about this. Talk about going from directing, because usually, not always, but right, often you'll be in a play and then have a chance to direct it some other time. And you don't quite as often go the other way. So talk about transitioning between directing this play and then being in it. Yeah,
I think the big difference for me is when I directed, I was just trying to look at the big picture and, try to make sure that people were getting in the right places and that we were hitting the right tone and, all of those types of things that you do when you're directing a show. But when you step back and just look at the one character, you get focused on what am I supposed to do, right? How am I supposed to portray this moment? And what can I bring to this that might be more specific and unique to me versus what I saw Tom do when he did it. And so it is very different. I think it's a different show. If for people who might have seen it before, it's a very different show.
Now, of course, I dug right into the theater nerd part of this, asking you about directing and acting and stuff. Yeah. We should take a step back and talk a little bit about the play, because it's a really funny premise.
Yes. The Love List is a play by Norm Foster. He is like Canada's most produced playwright, from what I understand, which is interesting. And he's a bit of a comedian, so this is one of his comedic works. I think almost everything he writes is somewhat comedic. But The Love List the premise is that there's a guy, I'm going to play this guy named Bill, who is turning 50 years old, and his friend takes him out for his 50th birthday for a dinner. And they come home from the dinner, and the friend is going to give him a birthday present, and the birthday present is a list that he bought from a fortune teller that you write down the 10 qualities that you're looking for in a mate, and the fortune teller will find this woman for you, basically. So they proceed to write out the list, and then after that night is over, about an hour after they've finished business and Leon, Bill's friend, leaves the house, this woman just shows up at the door. And she basically has all these qualities. So it's a fun premise.
And hilarity ensues.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away.
Right.
But, it turns out that, they end up discovering that if they alter the list, she changes too.
Oh,
which is kind of a fun thing. So, yeah.
It makes me, there's a magic trick that where you write all this stuff on a list and then hide it away, and then the magician at the end produces all the items on the list, and it makes me think a little bit of that, the predictive aspect.
Yeah. So is it the fortune teller actually found someone? Is it The Conjuring? Is it
all a big con game?
What is it? Yeah, what is it? So. It's kind of fun.
And you're at the in the Amana Performing Arts Center, which is they're by the old Visitor Center.
Yes, yeah. It's used to be the old Creamery Theater, And it has since the pandemic become the Amana Performing Arts Center. And TKM Productions is basically working in its direction of becoming the theater company that primarily works out of that space. And so this will be, I think, the 4th show that they've done there. And so we're really excited. We've got a full season ahead with TKM coming up as well.
The show is this weekend, the 10th and 11th, yes? Just 2 nights?
2 nights, the 10th and the 11th. It's a pre-Valentine's, date night kind of thing. Valentine's weekend is technically this weekend since the actual day falls on a Tuesday, right? So, bring a friend or a date to come see us at the Amana Performing Arts Center for 7:30 shows on Friday or Saturday night.
Going back to this being a play that you're familiar with, and you talked about when you moved from director to actor about really obviously focusing just on your character, not on the overall show. Right. But what did you learn about the script, the character, the show, when you did start to focus in on the character of Bill, your Bill, right?
There are some things in here that have actually surprised me about the depth of how things were thought out for the characters in the way that the list is not only created or generated, but also, later even in the character of Justine, played by my wife, Kai, right? Where, those alterations or changes that are made to the character kind of also, it's pretty ingenious, I think. The dialogue is great. You really feel it differently when you're acting it versus just watching someone do it over and over again. It's got a really fun rhythm to it. It's almost kind of Seinfeld-ish in some respects. So. And
you play opposite your wife, and you guys have done this a lot. But when you're doing a play like this and acting opposite your spouse, does part of it kind of expand out into your regular life together, or do you just leave it in the rehearsal hall when you leave?
I just a little bit, but especially if you're both in the show together and you get all of the inside references and jokes, and you're learning the lines and you kind of use them throughout the day. There's one of the things that's on the list is I want her to enjoy kissing me. And so every once in a while I'll be like, oh, I love kissing you, like we just do some of those things throughout the day. So it's kind of fun.
The show is The Love List with TKM Theatrical Productions, February 10th and 11th. And I know that I was looking on social media. I know they got kind of an Eventbrite link for tickets. Is there another, do you know of another, other than just looking up the social media page, do you know how the best way to get tickets?
I think if you go to Facebook and just look up TKM Theatrical Productions, you'll see that all the postings that we've most recently put out on here. But yeah, the Eventbrite links are in there as well. I mean, tickets are just $20, which is a good deal in the theater world, right? And so, we would love to have everybody come out and see us.
Well, it just sounds like a riot of a show and a true family affair.
Yeah, and there's going to be some extra little touches out in the lobby during the show as well. There's supposed to be some baked goods, and
I've heard rumors of chocolate.
Chocolate House is going to have some treats for sale in the lobby there. So, yeah.
Great way to celebrate Valentine's Day. It's, again, The Love List. From TKM Theatrical Productions. Just look them up on Facebook on the 10th and the 11th. Clark, always great to see you. Thanks for being here.
You as well. Thanks for your time.
You can hear The Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast player. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.